This is Susan Bassey, and this is a video that was sent to me from Pennsylvania. And if you recall from my prior reporting, Pennsylvania is the state where the Kids for Cash scheme was going on. That's where a group of judges decided to get involved with some builders and build some private prisons that they held a financial interest in, a conflict that was never disclosed. And they were sending kids to those prisons because they made a profit from it. Those judges are in prison now, and they owe a lot of money to victims that will probably never be paid. But this is a video about the culture that allowed that to persist, because that culture exists in our police departments, our prosecutors' offices, the district attorney who's elected in your community, the public defenders, and the judges who sit on the bench. And thanks to the mom who knew, because she had been watching our videos, to record this police officer and get his information.
Can you please say your name?
It's Chief Deputy Bingham.
Okay, and so what are you saying?
I'm saying you can't put these signs on everybody's cars here in the parking lot. It's considered scattering rubbish.
Anywhere?
You can put them, well, let's say you can't put them on anybody's cars at all because it's considered scattering rubbish without their consent.
Okay.
It's freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want. You can show whatever you want. You can stand out front of the courthouse with signs all you want, but you can't put this stuff on people's cars.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so.
And as one woman was being told that she couldn't put information on cars around a courthouse about lawyers and judges, another judge had shot his wife in Orange County, California. He texted his bailiff and his court clerk to say he had shot his wife and he wouldn't be in the next day. And when police officers asked him to get down on the ground so they could arrest him, he refused. And then he made $1 million bail because a judge that he worked in the courthouse with decided that was an appropriate bail amount. He met that bail and he was out the next day. But we know from our records about this judge had been previously disciplined by the Commission on Judicial Performance, which is the agency that disciplines judges in the state of California. One judge, Judge Erica Yu from Santa Clara County, said this judge didn't deserve to be publicly admonished for the conflicts of interest that he had. But he was in trouble because during a political campaign for judge, he wanted one prosecutor and judge to be in office, and another prosecutor who was running against that judge. He made up stories about her having sex and doing inappropriate things. He didn't have any basis to make those claims. He also didn't disclose the conflicts of interest that he had with all the public defenders on Facebook. And while that may not seem like a big deal, it was a precursor to the culture of the Orange County District Attorney's Office, where prosecutors made up stories, didn't disclose conflicts of interest that they had with the judges, and they prosecuted people and put them in jail based on those stories, which they knew were largely untrue. And nothing ever happened to the prosecutors that had done that. And some of them, like Judge Ferguson, became a judge.
Victim services information. I just want to make sure. What is your name again?
Stacy Capps.
This is Stacy Capps, and she's a prosecutor in Santa Clara County working for the Santa Clara County District Attorney, Jeff Rosen. A prosecutor, just like Judge Ferguson was a prosecutor before he became a judge. Stacy Capps makes over $400,000 a year. But more importantly, she was involved in a secret judge club where there were conflicts of interest with public defenders, prosecutors, judges, police officers, and reporters. The Bar Bench Media Police Committee operated in Santa Clara County for 30 years, as long as Judge Ferguson had been a prosecutor in Orange County. And those conflicts from the Bar Bench Media Police Club were never disclosed to the public or to litigants or to lawyers. This is Admir Allam. He's also a prosecutor in the Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office. He makes over $300,000 a year, and he is known to make up stories. He's also known to protect attorneys because he prosecuted a case involving attorney Valerie Houghton, who had taken over $3 million from some elderly real estate investors. And as he did that, he sat in the secret Bar Bench Media Police Committee with all the judges, prosecutors, and criminal defense attorneys who were involved in that case. And in the end, he ended up throwing the case to protect the divorce lawyer, Valerie Houghton.
Both of you are named in an antitrust complaint. You're being investigated for price fixing and limiting access for legal services in Santa Clara County. Mr. Hammond, you've been accused of lowering your prices for certain male clients that give you a benefit in front of temporary private judges. Do you have a comment on that?
I'll talk to you later.
Is there a reason you don't want to go on camera? You're a licensed attorney practicing law in the state of California.
Let's go talk to the sheriff. Come on.
That's fine. I'm in a public location.
And those were two divorce attorneys that I was asking some questions of out on the street when they decided to go get the sheriff. And those attorneys were also connected to the Bar Bench Media Police Committee, and they got a number of court appointments and favorable fee awards after they were in that club.
Mr. Mayfield? Hi. My name is Susan Bassey, and I'm investigating some issues related to civil rights violations in Santa Clara County.
Okay.
And I was told that Steve Preminger referred you to a Scott Largent at some point regarding civil rights violations. Do you remember that?
Well, I know Steve, obviously, but...
This is Dan Mayfield, and he clearly knows the county executives, public officials, and in Santa Clara County, those executives manage an $8 billion a year annual budget. Dan Mayfield contracts with the county when the public defender has a conflict of interest. Then Dan steps in and defends people who cannot afford a lawyer. His fees are paid for by taxpayers. He is a court-appointed attorney. He's also well-connected and connected to the secret judge club, the Bar Bench Media Police Committee.
No, I don't remember
I have
that.
emails where you discussed a case with Scott Largent and then you dropped it, and probably harming his statute of limitations. Does that ring a bell at all?
It doesn't, I'm sorry.
Do you do work for the county?
I get appointed to do defense work.
Through the IDO office?
Yeah,
Do you do any civil rights work?
no.
Okay, thank you for your time.
I don't do civil work.
Thank you.
A common trick seen with city and county attorneys is to charge you with a crime when they have violated your civil rights, because a civil rights claim can be costly to a county, so they spend a great deal of time trying to thwart that by having you criminally charged and shifting blame onto you. And criminally charged sometimes means judge shopping in order to find a judge who will convict you of that crime and save the county or city a lot of money in a civil rights lawsuit.
So what are they doing? They're looking for a
They're
judge?
going from department to department to try to find a judge. They've gone from Molly O'Neill's wife over here. They've gone to the most corrupt judge in all of Santa Clara County.
Who is Manukian?
Yeah. And now they're trying to get old Hastings off the golf course right now. I mean, this is for real.
What, you mean because they literally won't take it?
Right, no judge wants to hear it. We're too dicey.
That was a video that somebody took of me while we were waiting outside a criminal courthouse. I was being prosecuted for photographing a police officer inside the courthouse who broke my finger and seized my phone without a warrant. But I was the one prosecuted, and that's what case fixing looks like. Lawyers running around to find judges that will take a case, or judges trying to get cases put in front of them, like the private prison judges in Pennsyvania.
Ms. Bassey, I want to let you know that because you're represented by an attorney and our office is prosecuting you, we can't meet with you without... Hi,
How are you?
I'm good.
What's your name?
What's your name, ma'am?
My name is Susan Bassey.
Ms. Bassey, I want to let you know that because you're represented by an attorney and our office is prosecuting you...
This is James Gibbon Shapiro. He is also a prosecutor in Santa Clara County, reporting to the District Attorney Jeff Rosen. He makes over $400,000 a year and manages state and federal grants, largely for victims of violent crimes. He was also in the Bar Bench Media Police Committee, the secret club, and that disclosure was never made to the public when he sat on political boards or when he appeared in court. And he belonged to another club, the Inns of Court, where lawyers, judges, and some police officers got together to socialize. These people never disclosed these conflicts of interest when they were on political boards making votes or when they were in court, and those conflicts of interest were legally required to be disclosed.
So does that mean
I
I'm not
have
going to speak
rape
with you.
immunity.
I'm not gonna
Everybody can
speak
come
with you
rape me right now. Is that
until-
right?
Ma'am,
Scott, I can get raped right now,
Ma'am,
but they're prosecuting me
we're
for a
prosecuting you
photograph.
for a crime. You're represented by an attorney. I need to have your attorney present for any conversation.
And this is James Gibbons Shapiro making up a rule, making up a story, and just simply lying. This is the culture of the Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office that is just like the culture of the Orange County District Attorney's Office when they were running the Snitch scandal.
And copying me on multiple letters.
That's really a conversation you should have with Mr. Stadlin.
How many letters have you sent, Mr. Stadlin?
I believe I've sent him two.
I've seen one.
Regardless,
That
you
multiple
know-
multiple would be 3 or 4 in the exact definition. 2 is a couple.
Ma'am,
So
I'm going to ask you to leave because your attorney is not present.
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware you had to walk through the DA's
Ma'am,
office with an attorney.
I am also going to leave right now because I've...
When an attorney commits a crime, it is the district attorney or law enforcement that is supposed to prosecute them, but we rarely find that being done. And when they engage in unethical conduct, meaning sending somebody to jail by telling lies, the state bar is supposed to do something, but they rarely do as well, which is probably why James Gibbons Shapiro wasn't worried about my filing a bar complaint against him, because whether it's prosecutors sending people to jail improperly or public defenders not doing their job to defend their clients, or private attorneys who are stealing money from their clients, rarely do we find law enforcement or the state bar doing anything about it.
So
I'm going to ask you to leave because your attorney is not present.
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware you had to walk through the DA's
Ma'am,
office with an attorney.
I am also going to leave right now because I've communicated this to you now.
In California, we don't allow cameras in court, so the only way to capture the culture of prosecutors is to do it out of court. And this is what it looks like when prosecutors lie and prosecutors make up stories in and out of court. And eventually, these prosecutors, like Judge Ferguson, may become a judge.
James Shapiro, aren't you the head of victim services? Mr. Shapiro, are you the head of victim
Have a good
services
rest
for
of
the
your day,
county? How are you helping victims of sheer Hadash?
And for over a decade, James Gibbons Shapiro and other prosecutors sat in that secret meeting with judges, reporters, and police officers. And those meetings were off record, and they just made things up that then appeared in the newspaper while they didn't answer questions from other reporters.
What is your name?
Tim, I'm an investigator.
Are you investigating sheer Hadash? And
In addition to the prosecutors that a district attorney manages and supervises, they often have a number of district attorney investigators. These are usually former police officers or court bailiffs, and sometimes they do things that are not very investigative. Jeff Rosen, the DA in Santa Clara County, is known to give these people legal pads and make them pretend as if they are prosecutors. He also uses them in order to address issues related to his political alliances. These are the people that were attending the secret judge clubs, and they knew what was going on.
can you talk to me about why your office is ignoring all the complaints about Attorney Bradford Baugh?
District Attorney Jeff Rosen began his political career in the secret judge club. He held a political forum where only certain lawyers, judges, police officers, and reporters were invited, and the public that paid for those forums wasn't invited. And that is how those clubs influenced the media and influenced local elections.
Rosen, can you tell me why you're not investigating Attorney Bradford Baugh or private family law lawyers who are engaged in corruption with our local judges?
Jeff Rosen has been district attorney for over a decade, and his wife was appointed a judge in 2017. And she hasn't exactly followed the law when it comes to filling out her financial disclosures and other conduct when she's been a judge. But the person charged with investigating her would be her husband, Jeff Rosen. And they were sitting in the secret Bar Bench Media Police Committee together, and not many crimes against attorneys and judges were being brought, as they did. And that club influenced how people voted, including voting for judges, district attorney, and sheriffs.
Mr. Rosen, do you have a comment about not prosecuting judges and lawyers involved in our family courts?